Stubbsy, with a bit of luck I haven't got to introduce you here because people have already watched our single player sort of T-Hunt video on Rainbow Six Siege, but how are you anyway? Let's pretend I haven't spoke to you 5 minutes ago.
I'm still good as I was 5 minutes ago.
God, imagine if you said, oh no, I'm actually really down and depressed and... Jesus, this is a good way to start the video. Stubbsy, for those who haven't seen the other video, you spent the entire day with Ubisoft playing Rainbow Six Siege, and for those who, again, haven't seen it, we'll put a little link here. Go watch the impressions of the Operations mode, did we call it, and T-Hunt, Terrorist Hunt. We're going to talk about multiplayer now, Stubbsy, because I know, you're a big, you like your online gaming, you're a big Dota fan. Stubbsy, how is Rainbow Six Siege's multiplayer shaping up?
It's shaping up really well. And the reason I say that is because even though I've seen, obviously, like footage of it before, like showing the tactical gameplay that everyone kind of knows it's about, I kind of went in thinking, that's what they're showing off, but it's going to have to be doing something different in order for everyone not just to run off in the Call of Duty style, go off on their own and just try and shoot the hell out of everyone.
Yep.
And amazingly, that didn't happen at all.
Now, hang on, is that because you were a room full of games media types knowing that I need to play this properly? I mean, I can't ask you an impossible question and say, how will it play when it's out in the wild? Because you can't know. But did you get that impression, or was it the game that made it feel like this is what we should be doing?
It was definitely the game that made it feel like this is what we should be doing.
Good.
The first round that we did multiplayer-wise, I was on the defending side, and we had to, there was a hostage in a room, and we had to stop him being kidnapped, basically. Although I suppose it'd be saved if we were the people with the hostage. But anyway, and the first round that we did, we kind of didn't really know what we was doing. So a couple of the guys started barricading walls and stuff, but as they were doing that, me and I think two others, sort of went down some stairs to see if we could barricade a bit further away from the hostage to try and slow them down. And what inadvertently happened was they barricaded us out of the room where the hostage was. And so we either had the choice of breaking down the barricades ourselves, which would have been quite pointless, or just sort of setting up shop away from where the hostage was and trying to find kills and stuff. So our team was totally separated on almost other sides of the map. And we got absolutely wrecked. The other team 5-manned to where the hostage was, took out the two people, got the hostage, and then at that point we sort of went, we should probably go try and get that hostage back. And then as we went back up, they just mullered all three of us on the stairs. And so running off doesn't work, from my experience anyway.
Right.
The best tactic is to stay relatively close to the hostage if you're trying to defend him. Sort of stay relatively close, stay as a team, and have every angle covered. And then obviously if you see a guy coming from one angle, you shout as loud as you can down the microphone for everybody to come give you backup.
Do you feel a little bit... Because again, I purposely didn't play the beta or the alpha, I can't remember. But I purposely didn't play it because I want to be fresh. But the footage and, let's not beat around the bush. The presentation of it with the kind of commentary, it's not... I don't think it does the game any favours because nobody plays that way. But I worry that as a defensive... Because I guess that's like you say, you're on the defence if you're protecting... Well, not protecting, but... Because I presume when you're defending the hostage, you're...
Yeah, you have a hostage.
You've taken the hostage, haven't you? Yeah, it's not...
You have a hostage, you're trying to kill the people who are trying to save the hostage.
And just for a minute I thought, hang on, are you the good guys trying to protect the hostage? No, you've taken hostage. So you've got these defensive tools, you can barricade things up, and I'm sure you can set mines and all sorts of stuff. Do they feel... Does it... I mean, obviously you played both sides, and we'll get to that, but do you feel powerless or powerful as the defensive team? Do you feel like the tools really can be deployed effectively, or do you feel like it always kind of just bows down to a gunfight at the end?
No, the tools definitely do work. There was one guy that I quite liked playing as, where you could set a booby trap on a door, it was basically like a laser trip mine.
Right.
And if they didn't see the little laser, and obviously they walked through the door, it would blow up and deal quite a bit of damage. And I actually got quite a few kills using that. To the point where the person who was sat next to me got really frustrated because I would die very early on in each round, but I ended up with more kills than him.
But can't you shoot through the doors and stuff? So if there's a door, so I'm attacking and you're defending. You've put this trip miney thing on the door. which presumably is a door near to the hostage, because it's last defences kind of thing. But can't I just shoot through the door, or because the stuff they've shown before, you can actually make holes in the wall.
Yes, you could shoot through the door.
But then I guess where I am.
That gives away your
yeah?
position.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
like,
that makes
positioning
sense.
is super key.
Really?
And surprise is really like getting a good jump on the defending team when you're attacking is the easiest way to win. Because obviously when you're attacking, you don't have better vision options, but you've got them little RC car things that you can roll around and scout them out. If you know exactly where the opponents are, you can set up, you can go in from a couple of different ways, and if you have 3 people going in one direction and then another 2 people coming in behind, and if you've got flashbangs and stuff like that, then the defenders don't really stand a chance if you catch them off guard. So that's where, as the attackers, you kind of want to go in that one moment and clear all 5 people out within 30 seconds or so. Whereas if you're defending, it's more about pick-offs. You want to try and pick off one guy at a time if they move out of position, or if you can catch them with one of your traps or something like that. So it kind of feels really different on each side.
So in terms of, again, I apologise to anyone listening and watching this that thinks Adam Cook's a dumbass. I've purposefully tried to stay clear of this game because I want to play it fresh. I keep saying that just as a defensive mechanism. But what are we talking spawn times and spawn points here? If you're the defenders, presumably you can respawn, or is this kind of one and done? This is one and done, is it?
No, it's one life for everyone.
Now, is that across all modes? Because we talked about the other modes, which are totally separate, but in terms of the actual multiplayer, is this...
Yeah, everything I played was one life
and
only.
done. That's fucking cool, Stubbsy.
It's kind of a bit similar to Counter-Strike in the...
Yep.
You have got one life, but there is a lot of rounds in a game. So I think we played best of 5s.
Okay.
Oh no, it might have been first to 4, so best of 7, I think.
That's kind of cool. So you could, because I was going to say, if it's best of 5, that means someone's going to get an extra go as a defender or attacker. But if it's first to 4 or 5, that's different. But so do the rounds go quick then? Because if
it very much depends.
Right.
On the strategy. If the attackers figure out because you can choose which area you're going to try and defend when you're the defenders. If the attackers manage to scout you out in the first planning phase and they know exactly where you are and they rush in, then a round can be over within a minute and a half.
Yep.
Although if they don't have a clue where you are and you've got some mega defences and it kind of turns into a long, slow fight, then it can go long. I can see rounds probably going longer than 10 minutes, but that would be extreme cases.
So Stubbsy, I would be remiss not to mention this, because what you're describing here, the one life and you're gone, the real core of it, which is whether you're attacking or defending, play as a team, because if nothing else, you have one life. I mean, if you're the dick that runs in and gets killed every time, is it 4v4?
5v5.
5v5. So if you're the dick that runs in and gets killed every time, you're constantly making your team be 4 versus 5. Now, I know you hate this because every time a multiplayer game comes out, people are like, oh, well, this is an esport. It doesn't work like that. But you're describing a hugely tactical first-person shooter that is the team elements are the core aspect to being good at it. So I'm asking you that question as someone who I genuinely deem as a proper esports expert. To me, as someone who isn't an esports expert, it sounds like a real possibility this could become something like that.
It could. The 2 issues that it will face is Ubisoft will need to support it themselves in order for it to become a proper esport, which, based on Ubisoft's history, probably won't happen.
But the way they're marketing it with all the commentary over the top and stuff, and I know they did that for a lot of games, but that's kind of, was that them saying, this will work really well? Look, we got shoutcasters. Well, they weren't shoutcasters, were they? Now I think about it, it was just in-game chat, wasn't it?
They would definitely. They must know that it could work, but whether they do choose to get behind it and properly push it is another matter. I think the other issue that it faces, especially on the PC side, is so similar to Counter-Strike.
Really?
And, well, not so similar. I know
what
the same core idea.
Right.
and there is not a chance that it will knock
Oh shit,
Counter-Strike
nothing will.
off the top esport in the shooting
But
area.
my thinking is, like, I'm not being funny, and again, I know it's something you love, so don't think I'm being disparaging for the sake of it, but if Call of Duty can be an esport, like, surely, and a big esport, like, people who are listening thinking, no, COD isn't, it fucking is, like, Call of Duty's a massive, massive thing with it, even I know that. Surely this has a chance. I mean, I don't know, maybe I want it to, I don't know, I mean, it's interesting, I don't know. I mean, it's something I'm genuinely excited about. And, you've played a full day of it, and we've talked across all kind of modes now. The one thing I suppose I should ask, because I've kept blind on it, is does it have a spectator mode? Because the one thing you used to be able to do with Rainbow Six is you used to be able to literally set up your own server kind of thing and have like massive matches. And is that something you noticed at all?
I don't know if there's a dedicated spectator mode, but when you die, you obviously watch your other teammates, what they're doing.
Okay. I mean, it was more the Ghost Recon
imagine there would
games
be.
did it. Yeah, I mean, you'd hope so, because but that would help again towards the esport thing, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, you can't be an esport if you don't have a dedicated observer mode.
No.
Like that's now pretty much standard across everything.
So is there anything else from the multiplayer side of things you think you should get out there while we've got the time?
Well, it kind of across all the modes. A lot of the different modes that I played was in a plane, and I don't know if you remember it, but the final little mission of Call of Duty 4, where you're on a time limit and you're on the plane. I can't remember what it was called, but it kind of, the layout of the plane was very similar to that, so I kind of had flashbacks to that and was like, oh yeah, that's quite cool. But that's just a little thing that I liked.
Oh, cool, that's cool. So as always, youtube.com/GodIsAGeek. As I said in the other video, make sure you get the YouTube gaming app on iOS devices. I don't know if it works on Android, but you can hit the star button, and as soon as we upload a video or go live, you will get a notification, which is kind of cool. Patreon.com/GodIsAGeek if you like this and fancy giving us £1 or a couple of dollars a month, keeps us going. Enables us to go to events like the one Stubbsy's just been to, because they cost money to get to them, and money is always short. Stubbsy, thank you very much for your time.
No worries.
And we'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.